Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a world where the roar of battle is a symphony, and strength, honor, and loyalty are the ultimate currency. Imagine a clan where every member lives and breathes the art of war, a group so disciplined that they are feared across lands, respected by allies, and immortalized in legend. Today, we delve into the world of the Jomsvikings, the strongest warrior clan in Vinland Saga history, and uncover what made them a force unmatched in the Viking Age. The origins of the Jomsvikings are steeped in legend, discipline, and a philosophy that separates them from ordinary warriors, not only in history but also in the rich tapestry of anime storytelling like Vinland Saga. Unlike common Viking bands who fought for loot, land, or reputation, the Jomsvikings were conceived as an elite fighting force, a brotherhood whose very existence was structured around a rigorous code of conduct. From the moment of initiation, every member was indoctrinated not only in combat skills but also in principles that would define their lives: loyalty to the clan, unyielding courage, respect for fellow warriors, and the relentless pursuit of honor. This combination of ethics and skill transformed them from mere fighters into a symbol of disciplined excellence, an ideal that resonates with the dramatic, exaggerated, and emotionally intense storytelling of Japanese anime. The foundation of the Jomsvikings' philosophy can be traced back to the need for survival in an age where betrayal, treachery, and brutality were as common as the cold northern winds. Their formation was not simply about amassing swords and shields but about creating an institution where every action had consequences, where every choice was governed by a code that demanded excellence in both character and combat. For an outsider, this might seem restrictive or overly harsh, but for the Jomsvikings themselves, it was the very essence of freedom. They believed that true strength did not come from unbridled rage or opportunistic violence, but from the discipline to control oneself, to uphold promises, and to act with unwavering resolve even in the face of overwhelming adversity. In anime terms, this makes them almost mythical, as if they are characters drawn with exaggerated virtues, the embodiment of ideals that other warriors in the narrative aspire to but rarely achieve. Training in the Jomsvikings was a crucible designed to test every dimension of a warrior. Physical prowess was essential, but equally important was the cultivation of the mind and spirit. Young recruits were taught not only how to wield weapons but also how to think strategically, anticipate their enemies' moves, and act with precision. Discipline extended into every aspect of daily life, from adherence to rules, punctuality, and respect for peers, to moral conduct both on and off the battlefield. Every failure, whether in combat drills or moral decisions, carried consequences, instilling a sense of responsibility that was as much about personal integrity as it was about martial skill. For audiences familiar with Japanese anime, this resonates strongly with the archetype of the elite school or clan training environment, where characters endure grueling challenges that push them beyond their limits, fostering growth through hardship, perseverance, and camaraderie. At the heart of the Jomsvikings' identity was their unique code, which functioned as both a law and a philosophy. Membership required absolute loyalty, not just to a leader, but to the collective ethos of the clan. Individual desires were subordinated to the needs of the group, creating a system in which selfishness was seen as weakness. This unity was not enforced by fear alone, it was cultivated through respect, shared purpose, and the understanding that the strength of the clan depended on the integrity of each member. In Vinland Saga, this code is dramatized through intense anime sequences where warriors fight not just for themselves but for each other, demonstrating that the power of the Jomsvikings lies as much in their shared discipline as in their swords or shields. The recruitment process itself emphasized the seriousness of the Jomsvikings' mission. Only those capable of enduring extreme physical and mental stress were allowed to join. Initiates faced tests that measured courage, resilience, and the ability to act decisively under pressure. Failure could mean expulsion or even death, a reality that underscored the stakes involved. For viewers of Japanese anime, such trials often parallel the hero's journey motif, where young characters must overcome impossible challenges to earn their place in a larger narrative. In the case of the Jomsvikings, these trials forged warriors who were not only highly skilled but also deeply loyal and disciplined, the perfect embodiment of a nearly mythic elite clan whose reputation would echo across generations. The culture within the Jomsvikings was unique in its emphasis on equality and meritocracy. Unlike feudal structures that relied solely on birthright or wealth, advancement within the clan was based on ability, courage, and adherence to the code. Every member, regardless of background, had to earn their status through demonstrated skill, loyalty, and moral character. This meritocratic system created a dynamic in which talent and discipline were rewarded, while arrogance, cruelty, or incompetence were not tolerated. For anime storytelling, this allows for rich character development, as individuals are constantly tested against the high standards of the clan, creating tension, drama, and opportunities for growth, much like the rivalries and alliances seen in other classic anime series. Another significant aspect of their origins was the symbolic and psychological power of their fortress, Jomsborg. This base was not merely a stronghold but a physical manifestation of the Jomsvikings' ideals. Its walls, gates, and training grounds reflected the structure and order that the clan prized above all else. Life within Jomsborg was highly regimented, with strict schedules, communal living, and constant drills. This environment reinforced the principles of unity, discipline, and loyalty, producing warriors who could function as a cohesive, unstoppable force in battle. From an anime perspective, Jomsborg functions as a training ground setting, where viewers witness intense sequences of personal challenge, camaraderie, and the forging of elite abilities, building emotional attachment to both the location and the characters who inhabit it. Honor was the ultimate guiding principle for the Jomsvikings. Unlike ordinary fighters who might act opportunistically or abandon their comrades, the Jomsvikings adhered to a code that valued courage, integrity, and respect. Acts of cowardice, betrayal, or dishonor were intolerable, and discipline was swift and absolute. In Vinland Saga, this principle is often dramatized through high-stakes battles, moral dilemmas, and situations where characters must choose between personal survival and upholding the clan's values. This focus on honor transforms the Jomsvikings from simple warriors into a philosophical force, reinforcing the anime's themes of ethics, responsibility, and the cost of power. Finally, the Jomsvikings' origins established them as a legend within the Viking world. They were more than a fighting force, they were a symbol, a standard of excellence and discipline that other warriors aspired to reach. Their influence extended beyond battles, it shaped culture, inspired fear and respect, and created a narrative that would endure in both history and anime storytelling. Their code, their discipline, and their ideals made them timeless, the perfect example of how philosophy, skill, and morality intertwine to create warriors who are not only physically formidable but also morally and culturally significant. In conclusion, the origins and code of the Jomsvikings reflect a combination of discipline, honor, rigorous training, and philosophical depth. They are warriors molded not just by combat but by a strict code that defines their identity, binds them together, and elevates them above ordinary fighters. In anime storytelling, this blend of skill, morality, and legend makes the Jomsvikings not only captivating to watch but also deeply relatable as symbols of perseverance, loyalty, and human potential when guided by ideals far greater than personal ambition. The Jomsvikings were not just warriors, they were a force defined by unity, coordination, and a near-supernatural understanding of battlefield tactics. Unlike ordinary Viking groups that relied on brute strength or chaos, the Jomsvikings operated as a single, cohesive unit, executing strategies that seemed almost preordained. This level of discipline was the result of years of rigorous training, countless drills, and a philosophy that placed the success of the group above the desires of the individual. In Japanese anime, this concept resonates deeply with the portrayal of elite teams, where synchronized actions and mutual trust elevate ordinary characters into legendary heroes. The Jomsvikings' ability to function as a collective made them nearly unstoppable, as each member understood not only their role but also the roles of every comrade, anticipating movements, reactions, and potential threats with uncanny precision. Their formation in battle was an art in itself. Shields interlocked like the scales of a dragon, spears thrust in perfect unison, and lines advanced and retreated as if guided by a single mind. In anime, these sequences are often dramatized with sweeping camera angles, slow motion effects, and detailed close-ups that highlight both the skill and the intensity of the warriors. Each movement was a reflection of their code, calculated, disciplined, and executed without hesitation. The Jomsvikings' strategy went beyond physical coordination, it was also psychological. Their presence on the battlefield instilled awe and fear, as enemy forces quickly realized that they were not facing ordinary fighters but an army of perfected, disciplined warriors who fought not for plunder but for honor. Leadership within the Jomsvikings was equally critical to their effectiveness. Commanders were not chosen for personal strength alone but for strategic acumen, foresight, and the ability to inspire unwavering loyalty. Orders were executed with precision, and discipline ensured that hesitation or disobedience was virtually non-existent. In anime terms, this mirrors elite squads or master tacticians whose brilliance in strategy elevates the tension and stakes of every battle. The Jomsvikings' leaders could read the flow of combat as if it were a chessboard, predicting enemy movements, exploiting weaknesses, and adjusting tactics instantly. The warriors themselves trusted this leadership implicitly, understanding that their survival and the honor of the clan depended on flawless execution. Another critical aspect of their power was adaptability. While their code emphasized discipline and unity, the Jomsvikings were not rigid. They trained to respond to unexpected developments, exploiting opportunities with speed and efficiency. This balance between structure and flexibility made them unpredictable and formidable. In anime narratives, such adaptability is often highlighted in sequences where a calm, calculated warrior suddenly turns the tide of battle through ingenuity, showing that true strength lies not just in raw power but in intellect and foresight. The Jomsvikings embodied this principle, blending physical prowess, tactical knowledge, and psychological warfare into a cohesive force that few could challenge. Their cohesion also extended beyond battle. The bonds between members created a network of trust and loyalty, akin to the deep camaraderie seen in many Japanese anime teams. Every warrior was aware that failure could endanger their comrades, creating an environment where mutual respect and accountability were paramount. Training, rituals, and shared hardship forged these bonds, making them not just a fighting unit but a brotherhood where individual pride was subordinated to collective strength. The result was a clan whose effectiveness derived as much from trust and moral alignment as from skill with weapons. In conclusion, the Jomsvikings' tactical mastery, cohesion, and disciplined approach to combat transformed them into an elite force that transcended ordinary warfare. Their synchronization, strategic insight, and psychological dominance on the battlefield made them legends, not only in historical accounts but also in the epic, emotionally charged storytelling style of Japanese anime. The Jomsvikings demonstrate that true strength lies in unity, preparation, and the relentless pursuit of excellence, setting a standard that elevates them above mere warriors to symbols of discipline, honor, and unparalleled skill. What truly set the Jomsvikings apart from other Viking groups was not just their physical prowess, but their ability to inspire fear and respect across generations, earning a legendary reputation that would echo through history. In Japanese anime, characters or clans that achieve this level of notoriety often become central to the narrative, not only as formidable opponents but also as symbols of ideals such as discipline, loyalty, and strength. The Jomsvikings' reputation was built on a foundation of unmatched training, unwavering adherence to their code, and a record of battles that showcased their precision, courage, and unflinching resolve. Tales of their victories spread far and wide, shaping the expectations of both allies and enemies, much like how epic sagas in anime highlight the influence of powerful clans or guilds. Their training regimen was nothing short of legendary. From a young age, recruits were immersed in a life of strict discipline, honing not only their combat skills but also their mental fortitude. They learned to fight in formation, to anticipate the movements of enemies, and to endure pain and hardship without hesitation. In anime storytelling, this mirrors the intense training arcs where protagonists or elite squads undergo grueling challenges that test body, mind, and spirit. For the Jomsvikings, every strike, parry, and maneuver was rehearsed until instinct became second nature. This meticulous preparation allowed them to execute complex strategies under extreme pressure, making them a force that seemed almost superhuman on the battlefield. Honor and loyalty were equally central to their identity. Each member was bound by a strict code, one that demanded obedience, courage, and the prioritization of the clan over personal desire. Betrayal was unthinkable, and discipline was enforced rigorously. This ethical framework created a level of trust and coordination that few rival groups could match. In Japanese anime, the concept of an unbreakable code often elevates a group from mere fighters to legends, emphasizing that their power derives not only from skill but also from shared values and purpose. The Jomsvikings exemplified this principle, proving that discipline and unity could turn even a small force into a legendary entity. Their combat strategies were a combination of ancient wisdom and adaptability. The Jomsvikings could adjust to any battlefield scenario, exploiting weaknesses in enemy formations while maintaining their own cohesion. In anime terms, this is akin to a well-coordinated team of elite warriors, each member knowing not only their role but anticipating the actions of others with near telepathic precision. Whether confronting rival Viking bands, hostile armies, or unpredictable terrain, the Jomsvikings' ability to adapt while preserving their structured formations made them a nightmare for adversaries. This combination of flexibility and discipline is what made them feel larger than life, a theme often celebrated in animated storytelling where heroes or villains achieve legendary status through extraordinary coordination and strategy. Psychological warfare was another tool in their arsenal. The Jomsvikings understood that fear could be as powerful as the sword. Their disciplined formations, relentless efficiency, and unwavering bravery created an aura of inevitability on the battlefield. Enemies would falter not only because of physical might but because the Jomsvikings embodied the concept of absolute control, a force that seemed unstoppable. In anime, this is comparable to moments when an elite team or legendary warrior steps onto the battlefield and shifts the entire mood of the scene. Intimidation itself becomes a weapon. Finally, their legacy extended beyond mere victories. The Jomsvikings became a symbol, representing the pinnacle of what disciplined warriors could achieve. Their story inspired future generations, both within their ranks and in the imagination of chroniclers and storytellers, much like the immortalized guilds or clans in Japanese anime. They demonstrated that true strength is not just about individual power, but about mastery of teamwork, strategy, and moral conviction. The Jomsvikings were more than warriors. They were an ideal, a standard of excellence that combined skill, honor, and unyielding unity into a legendary force whose influence would endure across centuries. The final aspect that cements the Jomsvikings' legendary status is their influence on the wider world around them, both within the story of Vinland Saga and in the historical imagination that inspires it. In Japanese anime, the ripple effect of a powerful clan or character often extends far beyond direct combat, shaping societies, inspiring allies, and instilling dread in enemies. The Jomsvikings' presence on the battlefield was more than physical dominance. It was cultural and psychological, a demonstration of what could be achieved when unwavering discipline, strategic brilliance, and moral rigor intersected. Their actions forced other Viking clans to rethink their strategies, altered alliances, and created a reputation so enduring that mere mention of their name could shift the tide of conflict. Leadership within the Jomsvikings was pivotal to their enduring influence. Unlike chaotic warbands or clans led solely by brute force, their leaders embodied both tactical genius and ethical authority. They were commanders who demanded perfection, but they also inspired loyalty through respect, discipline, and example. In anime narratives, such figures often become the benchmarks against which other characters are measured, the leaders whose presence alone elevates the entire group's skill and cohesion. For the Jomsvikings, the right command structure ensured that every member operated as a unit, that the strict code of honor was maintained, and that no battlefield misstep would compromise the integrity of the clan. Leadership was not just about giving orders, it was about shaping a living, breathing embodiment of martial excellence. The Jomsvikings also exemplified the concept of unity under adversity. Even when facing enemies with superior numbers, unfamiliar terrain, or unexpected betrayals, their cohesion remained unbroken. In anime, these moments of adversity often become defining arcs, highlighting the depth of a group's bond and the extraordinary capability of characters who trust one another implicitly. The Jomsvikings' discipline meant that they could execute complex battlefield maneuvers without hesitation, relying on years of training, mutual understanding, and shared commitment. Their ability to act as a singular, unstoppable force is part of what made them legendary, transforming ordinary confrontations into spectacles of precision and strength. Another critical factor in their lasting legacy was their adaptability. While rooted in rigid training and strict codes, the Jomsvikings were not rigid in practice. They could adjust tactics, innovate strategies mid-battle, and respond to unpredictable threats with the same confidence they displayed in rehearsed formations. This flexibility combined with discipline mirrors the elite squads or guilds in Japanese anime, whose adaptability distinguishes them from ordinary warriors. It also emphasizes that true strength lies not in unchanging force but in the ability to remain steadfast while navigating chaos. The Jomsvikings embodied this principle, making them both feared and respected across generations. Beyond combat, the Jomsvikings' philosophical approach to warfare and life contributed to their mythos. They believed in honor, courage, and the relentless pursuit of excellence, not simply victory. This mindset set them apart from mercenaries or chaotic raiders, elevating their actions into lessons in strategy, ethics, and resilience. In animated storytelling, these themes resonate deeply because they reflect the internal growth of characters, the development of ideals, and the cultivation of respect and fear simultaneously. The Jomsvikings' philosophy was as much a weapon as their axes or shields. It shaped the hearts and minds of allies and enemies alike. Their legend is eternal, and their story will echo in every warrior's heart for generations to come.